end of your chart if you have space. Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that right there. But I said once upon a time.
It does say once upon a time.
I didn't see that, but it's another fairy tale that starts backwards. I can't think of what it's called.
A lot of fairy tales do start with once upon a time. It has its own little, signal phrase that a story is about to be told. But, some
start
don't.
backwards.
Okay,
What's that called?
not sure. I'll look into it though. What else does the fairy tale genre have?
They end with happy ever after.
Happy endings. What else, guys? Somebody tell me something.
They usually contain a moral lesson.
Moral lessons. What else?
Oh, I got one.
Magic.
Magic. Next.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, they usually have a protagonist and an antagonist.
I was really hoping you would give me that one. Yes. Protagonist, antagonist. What's another way to say that?
Good guy, bad.
Villain.
Good guy and bad guy.
Yeah.
Good guy, bad guy, villain, and what?
Super
Hero. You see how we have specific language that deals with different types of fairy tales? It's interesting. They have their own set of vocabulary. What else do we see in fairy tales? Who's in them? Besides good guys, bad guys?
Princesses.
Princesses.
sidekicks.
And
Sidekicks.
prince.
Godmother.
Godmothers. What kind of godmothers?
Fairy godmothers.
Exactly.
Very
Like
good.
parents?
Yeah.
What else are we missing? What's something pretty regular that we're missing?
Talking animals.
Talking animals.
Yeah,
That
you
does
can
fall
think.
under, listen, that does fall under the category of magic, but it's a bit more specific because magic is so broad. That could be the fairy godmother, that could be magic shoes.
Personification.
Exactly. Yeah, there is a lot of personification and a lot of fairy, godmothers, magic, fairies, talking animals, all of the above, a lot of different things. This is just an exercise to get us thinking about what we know about fairy tales, and we just kind of take it for granted that they're in them, but what they really do, because they have a purpose. When you're reading a story of any kind, whether you think it's just for little kids or for grown-ups, everything put into that story has a purpose. And we need to be aware and conscious as humans of what we're letting inside of our mind, right? Think deeply and critically of these things. Okay, so I feel pretty satisfied that you guys know what comes up in the fairy tales, but I want to know, what do you think the purpose of a fairy tale is? What do you think? There's not a wrong answer. I just want to know what you think. Yes. I heard someone say something. What was it?
I said something to teach.
To teach you. Some of them definitely do teach you. What do they teach? What? Speak up. I value your thoughts and your opinions. You're not going to be wrong. This is a safe place to be able to talk about these things. They show you life lessons. They teach you things related to your life that you might come across. Were you going to say something similar?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you tell a good story.
Tell a good story. Mere entertainment, right? So on one hand, hopefully we're being entertained, but on the other hand, we're learning something. Who are they written to then?
Everybody.
It
But
it
the way,
depends,
the
like,
older
most
you
of-
are, different.
Everywhere.
Absolutely, that is a great way to explain it. They're written to everybody, but based on your age level and your maturity level, your takeaway is different. So for kids, it might just be, they might think they're just being entertained, but they're still learning something. And the older you are, in a class like this, where we can actually really think about what we're learning, it's different, but it's the same fairy tale, right?
Yeah.
All right, good. So what is usually the tone of a fairy tale?
Happy.
Sad.
Happy and then sad. And then
Solves
happy.
a problem and then it gets happy.
Exactly, Frankie has it right on the head. What is it?
Happy and then there's a problem and happy.
Exactly. You guys know that plot structure?
Yeah.
That whole beginning, introduction, rising action, the climax, that problem being solved and declining and being resolved, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So no matter what kind of fairy tale it is, whether it's adventure or princes or Shrek, things start off a certain way, there's some problem that needs to be fixed, and it's fixed at the end, because you guys say that they end with happily ever afters, right? So why do you think fairy tales are so popular?
Because
They're
they're
entertaining.
entertaining.
They're entertaining, but so is music,
They go in-
and a lot of people might not know artists
They go into all
from 50
cultures.
years ago. But Cinderella goes back to the 9th century and has a lot of different versions.
Oh, yeah.
They,
Why so popular?
they apply to all
the
cultures.
Hold on, Killian's answering.
They apply to all cultures.
So they apply to all cultures, thus viewers, readers. They're relatable. Frankie mentioned that when he said why he liked Wally. You think that's the only reason, that they can be entertaining and they're relatable?
No,
What else then?
I don't know.
Try. At least get us started. We'll kind of jump in with you.
What's the question?
Question is, why do you think they're popular, besides just being entertaining and relatable?
I don't know.
It's mostly for kids.
Okay? Because there's imagination. I think that's pretty crucial. They're purposefully passed on. No one has said that in any of the periods that we've gone over this, and I think that's absolutely it. If something is passed on for so many centuries, hundreds of centuries, and redone over and over and over, that signifies to us an importance, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's exactly right. Okay. So, my favorite fairy tale scholar, his name is Jack Zeitz. He would completely agree with all of you that on some level, fairy tales are supposed to entertain you, but beyond that, they serve a purpose. And he says that that purpose is to teach. And I quote him when I say, fairy tales serve as a literary tool for socialization. Literary meaning books, socialization, you can hear the root social, having to do with the people around you. When you're reading a fairy tale, that book in your hand is a tool that is actually doing something. It's teaching you about your role in society, what you're supposed to be doing. And he says specifically gender roles. He talks about how fairy tales, on one hand, reveal to us this universal desire, how we feel about the events in our life that are universally similar to people, no matter where they live. That desire to be successful, to have a happy ending, it's universal. But on one hand, if you're going to have that happy ending, these fairy tales teach you, you have to fit a certain role to be able to accomplish that goal, right? Heads up, no sleeping, hit your buddy if they put their head on the desk, I'll give you permission. Okay? Is everybody with me? That if you're going to have a happy ending according to fairy tales, then you have to fit a role. You're not going to be the evil villain and have a happy ending, right?
No, they don't.
Exactly. So based on their role, we know what their fate is. So when we're kids and we're reading these fairy tales, we align ourselves with the heroes, don't we?
Yeah.
With the princesses, the damsels in distress who get saved and taken away at the end of the day. Just important to keep these things in mind as we're going over it. All right. So, Family of Little Feet. That's page 39. On your worksheet, you'll notice that there's some golden questions. They're not in a specific order other than how they're going to come up in the text. So we'll be jumping around, head up, open your book, page 39. Do you have a book? Do we have an extra? Look on with your friend. Okay. Page 39 is my absolute favorite vignette in this entire book. I adore it. And